can it be sold? And he lives in his own little space, actually in London, a little brand pod office in Hedden Street, off Regent Street. So he's near Soho and near cool stuff that's going on, not out at Beaconsfield in Bucks, where our main support office is. And then obviously, Mr. Finance Director, he does pounds, euros, and dollars, or lady, Madeline. And then a lady called Karen is the Director of Production Operations. And, you know, that's structure to the business. It's not a pyramid, it's not an inverse pyramid. It's, I think, quite neat in how it works, how we go about it. And as you'll see, I've got to be the strong axle in the middle, supporting and developing the team that are working around me. So the environment I live in, going back to the hurricane slide, keep your business in the eye of the hurricane. Don't be bashed by what's going on around you. Define what it is you want to do and get on with it. Embrace the SPACE acronym. Enjoy the satisfaction of success. Reward yourself for it. Get behind passion and persistence. Walk the talk with the attitude of action. Project confidence with the belt and braces of common sense. Get into the digital community. And then, above all, enthuse, exceed, and enjoy it, as I hope you do this conference. Thank you very much for listening to me. My name is Will King, King of Shaves. Thank you. If there are any questions from anybody in the audience, I'm happy to take one or two if we have time. So there's ladies with roving mics, so I guess they'll rove around. There's a man on the front row. I like guys who sit on the front row.
Thank you very much. It's Andy Seymour from AT Management. Obviously, I'm also involved in the internet in some ways, and with the way that you started some time ago, obviously the internet was sort of quite small. Everyone wanted to get into it, and you're in it in the right place, right time. And obviously, Facebook's come along. How do you think you're going to be able to carry on that? Because there's so much on the internet now. How do you still keep ahead of everyone else? Because it's just, you know, trying to register a .co or .com, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right now, but in fact, it's easier. Now, in the past, let's say in the mid-90s, you'd have hundreds and hundreds, well, thousands, millions of homes, all called .co.uk, .com, .this, .that, .the other, and the person had to actively seek them out. Now what you have is communities established around whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, and getting a facebook.com/yourname is relatively easy now. I mean, I got facebook.com/Will King because I knew they were releasing it by following all this stuff. And as soon as it was released, I could get that, so I could have that as an easy thing to follow. So it's not so much now about having your own personal home as a .co.uk. It's important you have it, but it doesn't really matter. What's far more relevant is having I'll call it a company fan page, where customers of yours can converge onto a discussion format, exchange views, good and bad, because there will be good and bad in there, ask things, ask questions, and have somebody look after and manage that particular space, rather than blogging out from your own homepage. So I'm doing much less now blogging from, say, kingofshaves.com/blog, and far more micro-posting from Twitter, which then drops via the authorization mechanisms straight into the King of Shaves Facebook fan page. So people, if they want to, can see what's going on. So we're now living in sort of 3 cities of community and content: the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter. All of those are free, and all of those serve as really places where your brand or business should be actively discussed and promoted. The TLD piece of it should now just be really reserved for really structurally important stuff that people, if they really want to know about you, can go there as part of that. So I think it's in a way easier now, but you've got to move quick to get a twitter.com/kingofshaves. You know, you've got to move quick to get a facebook.com/kingofshaves. You can't hope to get it in 2 years' time, because Facebook people will be at 1 billion, and you can bet your bottom dollar that somebody will have already snagged that name. And the only way to get it to answer your questions and to be in the cutting edge of all of this stuff, no pun intended, is to be always alert to what's going on. And because I never had any money setting up King of Shaves, I was always alert to what I might get when it was free at the start and become part of and define it. So I think it's easier now, as long as you embrace that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, digital community brand, digital dialogue versus brand broadcast space, in my opinion. Thanks.
I'll be really cheeky and ask something else. Do you, in the retail arena, do you also get involved in affiliate marketing and things like that to push brand awareness and to push people towards it?
Yeah, in some cases we do. It just depends. We try to, a lot of our business is done via the Boots, Tesco's, Asda's, Sainsbury's of the world. We do some affiliate stuff. Really just depends on the brand and the brand adjacency and how we're doing and what we're doing it. But yes, and we've got an app coming up to do King of Shaves via your iPhone and all this sort of stuff. And if the affiliate is relevant for the brand and how we do it, absolutely.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi, Dave Padgett from Zatila Products. We're about to launch into a market which, like yourselves, is dominated by one or two very large companies. And it's a highly innovative product. The warnings I've been given from people that know the industry even better than I do is the potential for bullying from the larger organisations. Did you experience that, and if so, what advice can you give to counter that?
I would say, not bullying as such, but clearly the competition I'm up against and their desire for me not to be in their market is, I would say, commercially compelling. However, the buyers that I deal with, for example, at Boots or Tesco, clearly they're interested in giving their consumers choice and competition for the big guys. So, in a way, Tesco actually quite like the fact King of Shaves is challenging in its marketplace against Gillette, because it means Gillette, Procter & Gamble will have to fight harder for their space and spend more money with Tesco on things like trade promotions. It means they'll spend more money on marketing to keep King of Shaves out. It means that King of Shaves itself will spend more money on trade promotions and marketing with Tesco and spend more money on competing. So I think people who are telling you you're going to get bullied, you know, I've not been bullied as such, but I'm aware that there is a strong desire for us not to be in the market. But actually, people we deal with, the vendors as such, the buyers at the big grocery chains, the big pharmacy chains, they like the fact we're in the market because they're keeping the competition on their toes. Other than that, sort of dirty tricks and stuff like that, there's been a few dirty tricks out there, but you know, one of them sort of I just reported straight to Justin King at Sainsbury, and it ran as a piece in the Times about some idiot in field marketing for one of our competitors turning our products all around at the point of sale. But that ended up in the Times, which was very embarrassing for, you know, the competitor, for example. So I wouldn't be afraid of it, but just make sure the market you're launching into, you must have some sort of protection, whether it's a trademark, whether it's a patent, or whether it's IP, because in my space, that's critically important and why it's very hard to sort of compete in razors and blades because of all the patents and the trademarks and the business engineering issues there are out there that you've got to make sure you're not infringing. But, you know, if the market's big and addressable and it's got big competitors in it and you've got a niche product you can grow into that space, absolutely. So just go and get on with it. Just one more, I think.
Thank you very much, Mr. King. First of all, a personal thank you from myself on behalf of my wife for helping me keep my youthful good looks. I've been using your product for quite a while, and it's great.
Thank you.
On the business sense of things, you mentioned earlier on when you started you had no financial help. In this current climate, which route would you suggest going down to gain finance for a new startup business, i.e. banking or investment angels, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, at the start, I absolutely had no money at all. I've been made redundant and got into debt quite quickly. I sold some equity in the business to basically still my business partner, Herbie, and my best friend from Polytechnic. Selling equity position in your business is obviously an expensive way of raising money if the business ends up becoming successful. So for the couple of grand they put in, they're now sitting on millions of pounds worth of return on investment. But you need to start somewhere. The banks now want to see that you've got what I'll say skin in the game. So in the same way that if you're buying a house, you're going to be asked to put down quite a punchy deposit.